Hey everyone, Daunter here. If you don't know who I am, I'm a Pokemon card YouTuber who reviews the many artists of the Pokemon TCG, and also, recently, started to voice my opinions on certain things. If you like the content, or are just interested in my content at all, consider subscribing. I'm a pretty cool guy, it's a pretty cool channel. Anyways, in this little short video, I just kind of want to talk about something silly for a second. I just want to talk about something that I thought that was a little interesting. And that is Sword and Shield gold cards. I know, very random. Nobody probably cares about Sword and Shield gold cards. But there are some things that I have to say about Sword and Shield gold cards. Now, let me get this out of the way before we start this whole video and me kind of tearing down the idea of Sword and Shield gold card Pokemon specifically. This is specifically about the Pokemon. The items are always usually fine. Nothing to note about, but they're usually fine. This is specifically me talking about the Pokemon, and let me get this out of the way real quick. The 4 gold cards from Crown Zenith, the Palkia, Dialga, Giratina, and the Arceus, are completely excluded from this conversation. Those cards are fantastic, they're perfect. I have nothing to complain or even talk about with those cards because they're just perfection. So just to get that out of the way first, I'm going to say that right there. And then my next claim is going to be the point of the video, which is I feel like Sword and Shield gold cards really fell off. Honestly, they had so much potential. They really did, and I feel like they kind of realized that potential for the most part in the early Sword and Shield sets, but they really fell off. So what do I mean by this? In Sword and Shield base set, we actually did receive gold cards for Zacian and Zamazenta, which are, I mean, they're fine. There's this Zacian V and Zamazenta V, but they're just gold. I think that is kind of like the style that we'll see like adopted later into the Sword and Shield era. But starting with Rebel Clash, something interesting actually happened. We did receive 2 gold Pokemon, but the gold Pokemon are just like reprints of the regular Pokemon, but just as a shiny, which I thought was pretty interesting. We have a Frostmoth card, and we also have a Galarian Berserker card. It's literally just the same Pokemon, but they're shiny. And it's actually kind of cool because the representation is nice, especially for Pokemon like Frostmoth or Berserker, where I feel like you don't really have a lot of fans for that Pokemon. So I think that that's actually a good idea. I think that that's actually a great idea, and they actually continued this idea in Vivid Voltage with 2 more shiny Pokemon, being Oranguru and Galarian Obstagoon. Now, Oranguru, I don't really care for that Pokemon, but it is still cool that it's a shiny, and Galarian Obstagoon, I feel like that's really cool. It has a really, really cool color palette. It's just a really unique looking card. You know, and we'd see this continue even further. 2 more in Darkness Ablaze. We saw a gold Rillaboom shiny and a gold Colossal shiny. Nothing really to note about those 2. I think their shinies are pretty minimal, so you can't really tell a whole lot. But it's still really cool, you know? Like, I have absolutely no complaints. And then we see them again. They're in another set here. Where is it? It's we have Chilling Reign, right? Oh, no, Battle Styles. So Battle Styles, we have the Octillery and the Houndoom. People love the Gold Houndoom. I think that card is fantastic. I think that the Gold Houndoom in Battle Styles is probably one of the best cards in the set. It's a shiny Houndoom, you know? And it's just really interesting, right? And then you have the shiny Octillery, which is, it's yellow. That's cool. That's also pretty interesting as well. Again, just 2 really, really cool looking cards, and it just kind of adds another layer of depth, right? Especially in Battle Styles, right? Because you have like the alternate arts, you have like the full art Vs, and you have the rainbows. So it was really cool that they decided to do something a little bit different with their gold cards, having them be shiny Pokemon. I thought that was a really great idea. And this continues further in the set Chilling Reign. We see an Electrode, we see a Bronzong, and we see Snorlax, so 3 Pokemon in that set, which is, again, great idea. Electrode especially, it has that really, really nice poppy blue shiny that works really well. Bronzong is kind of samey, but it is a little bit more green, and we have Snorlax with that more vibrant blue. Again, fantastic, have nothing to complain about. And then we move into Fusion Strike and Evolving Skies. I think, what was Evolving Skies is first. So we'll talk about Evolving Skies first. Evolving Skies has the Frostlass, which is pretty unchanged, I think, from its main form. But we also have Inteleon, which is really, really cool. Inteleon Shiny is super vibrant. It stands out really nicely. And it's a really, really cool card to include in the set. It's just a very nice like add-on to an already incredible set. And I feel like most people probably think that Inteleon Shiny looks cool. I think it looks cool, especially compared to those regular colors. Put those up on the side there. And then we have one more gold shiny Pokemon, which is Gold Flaffy from Fusion Strike. That is the only gold card in that set. So it's a little bit sad to see that there's only one shiny gold Pokemon that kind of already looks similar to how it already did. But it's really cool, especially for Flaffy, because it was a very playable card. So you had a very, very playable card to get this really cool shiny gold card. And again, fantastic idea. I think the last one that we did receive was the Mew from Celebrations being a shiny gold Pokemon, which again looks fantastic. It's a really, really good looking gold card. I feel like most people probably like this card. And me included, I think it looks fantastic. And that's something that I'm not complaining about. I think the gold like effects in the background, like bursting outwards, look really, really cool with the Pokemon in the foreground, and those little shiny speckles that we see in the shiny sets really adds to that. Honestly, if they just did this instead of having Shining Fates as a set, I think I would be happier with this. It's just more unique. It's, more special. It feels interesting, right? It's a unique thing. And then it all kind of went down the drain, unfortunately. This really fantastic idea was not included in our next set here in Pokemon Go, which is really disappointing. I really thought it would be. In that set, we received a Mewtwo V-Star Gold card. Unfortunately, it's exactly the same as the Mewtwo V-Star from the set, and the same as the Rainbow Mewtwo V-Star from the set. They have the same artwork for all three of them. So you're starting to notice something here, right? Like, there's 3 cards that look exactly the same, other than one being gold and one being rainbow, as opposed to, like, a very unique, interesting concept with, like, the whole, shiny Pokemon idea. And it gets thrown away for the rest of the Sword and Shield era, right? So we have Brilliant Stars with the Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. These 3 are a little bit more acceptable, I think, because they come as a complete set, so it looks a little bit nicer, I would say. And you also have Arceus as well. But yet again, I think these are just the exact same as the full arts. The Articuno, at least they don't have rainbows, right? I think it's better if they don't have rainbows. So I think they work better for those Pokemon. But the Arceus is, again, it's the exact same as the rainbow, so there's like no difference. Unless you prefer gold, unless you prefer rainbow, it's the exact same. Same thing with Astral Radiance. We saw 3 gold cards: Palkia V-Star, Samurott V-Star, Dialga V-Star, again, the exact same. And then finally, obviously, we have Lost Origin with the Hisuian Zoroark and the Giratina. And, finally, we had the Lugia V-Star. Do you notice something? Do you notice a problem here is that they are all exactly the same. Now, I just kind of want to bring up the fact that, like, I just find it interesting that we had such an incredible idea of having shiny Pokemon be put in, like, these sets, and then it just gets completely forgotten about. Like, I'm not one to praise 3D graphics cards. I don't think they're particularly fantastic or noteworthy or interesting most of the time. Black and white, obviously, is an exception, and so is X and Y full arts. But, I feel like these cards did something different, They were more interesting. And, I mean, could you imagine if, like, we saw, for those Galarian birds, the Galarian Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres, if they had their shiny colors, which are a callback to the Kanto colors, those cards would be a lot more sought after. I feel like a lot more people would probably like them, me included. And I think it would just be more interesting, right? Same thing with Mewtwo V-Star from Pokemon Go, if it had the green tail. Like, you don't have to get rid of the fact that they're like the V cards or the V-Star cards. You could just make them shiny, It's doesn't seem like that big of an ask, right? Especially for Giratina V-Star. Could you imagine if the gold Giratina V-Star was shiny colors, has those crazy popping blue shiny colors? It would look fantastic. So yeah, that's what the video is about, right? I think that the Sword and Shield gold cards had such a great idea that I hardly see anyone talk about. I feel like this is such a non-issue, non-important issue, right? Because we're well into the Scarlet and Violet era. But like I said, this is just such a unique idea, right? It's something that we've never seen before and we haven't seen since. I wouldn't mind if they brought it back, honestly. Scarlet and Violet gold cards are just another set of gold cards. It would be really cool if Scarlet and Violet gold cards were shiny Pokemon. Could you imagine? Like, that'd be awesome. Regardless, we the funny thing is we did have this. We had this in the Sword and Shield era, and they forgot about it halfway through the era. I'm just wondering why, I thought it was a great idea. That's the whole video. The whole video is me just saying I kind of wish we had more of these shiny gold cards, and I hope we see more in the future. Because I think that shiny Pokemon actually work really well as gold cards. So, I mean, maybe in the future we'll see some more. If not, obviously, it's not really that humongous of it's not that humongous, like, world-shattering of a deal, right? But, like I said, I think it would just be really cool if we saw it. And I really, really hope that they come back in some way. Oh yeah, I didn't mention in Evolving Skies we also got a Cresselia gold card of the shiny, which looks really really cool. It looks super cool. A Cresselia shiny pops so nicely, and that's just such a great looking card. Um, and yeah, I mean, I just think it was such a good idea that they really just could have done more with. I don't know. I thought it was like really interesting that they just kind of dropped it out of nowhere. Halfway through the Sword and Shield era too, they could have just finished strong. And I feel like people would love it. You know, people love the gold shiny Mew card. I love that card. You know, I think it's a great looking card. I think it looks fantastic. I don't know. Could you? I mean, just like, could you imagine if the Giratina V-Star was a shiny? That'd be crazy. Um, Again, this is just a little bit of a random kind of small video just so I can get it out because I won't be available tomorrow or today. I guess I'll post this tomorrow today, you know? So, yeah, silly little topic for a silly little video. But regardless, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found it insightful. You know, like, I hope you know, maybe take a second and be like, those gold cards were actually kind of cool. You know, the shiny gold cards were actually kind of cool. Or maybe you're like, man, I hated those. I'm glad that there's, you know, Giratina V-Star for all my kinds of likes, you know, regular, gold, and a rainbow. I don't know if you do feel that way. Like, I don't think a lot of people really feel that way. I don't think a lot of people really care about the golds or the rainbows in the Sword and Shield era, which is kind of unfortunate. Regardless, I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Oh yeah, and why did they make a shiny card for Inteleon and Rillaboom, but not for Cinderace? They just left my man out. They left him out. Why? Why? And like, to add on to that, Inteleon was the only one to get an Alt Art out of the three. Why? Why leave the other ones out? I just don't. I don't understand. Whatever.